All right, now back to our top story. Former Patriots player and convicted murderer Aaron Hernandez has killed himself in a Massachusetts prison. He was discovered early this morning hanging in his cell by a bedsheet. The former NFL star had been acquitted just days ago in 2 murders from 2012, but he's already serving a life sentence for a 2013 murder. Now on the phone with us is Boston Globe Deputy City Editor Mike Bello. Thanks for joining us, Mike. I want to ask you, how big of a shock was this to hear the news about Aaron Hernandez?
Well, I think a lot of people are stunned this morning in the sports community in Massachusetts, even the victims' families. We just talked to the families of 2 men who Hernandez had been charged with killing, and he was exonerated of that crime, found not guilty last Friday, the Abreu family. They said they take no joy in his death this morning. There's an investigation underway by the Massachusetts State Police and the Worcester County District Attorney's Office and the Department of Correction into the death of Aaron Hernandez. Apparently he had used a bed sheet, according to authorities, to hang himself. Apparently put stuff in the door so guards could not open the door. When they found him around 3:05 this morning, he was pronounced dead shortly after 4 a.m. There was all kinds of other reaction. Mostly people are just saying tragedy, sadness, the end of a really 4 or 5 year saga, where it started with the murders of these 2 men in the South End in 2012, and then Hernandez was convicted in the killing of Odin Lloyd in an industrial park in North Attleboro in 2013, and he was serving a life sentence for that at the Sousa Baranowski prison when he hung himself early this morning. Yeah,
and we saw him be very emotional when he was acquitted of that double murder. I thought to myself, it's probably the most emotion that I've seen from him in looking at some of the trial footage. Do we know if he was on suicide watch or whether or not there was a concern about his mental health?
No, the Department of Corrections spokesman, Christopher Fallon, tells us there was no suicide note found during the initial search of the 2-man cell to which Hernandez was assigned alone. He was not in a suicide watch. There was no signal that he was at risk, according to the prison spokesman. They said, quote, if he had made any kind of statement, he would not have been in that unit, according to the prison spokesman. So no indication of that at this point.
I want to ask you about that last case in which he was cleared on Friday of this double murder. Was that outcome expected, or was the verdict a surprise?
Well, certainly to law enforcement, certainly to prosecutors, it was a surprise. They were stunned by the verdict. They felt that the chief prosecution witness, Alexander Bradley, had been a good witness to describe Hernandez allegedly reaching over in a car and firing shots, killing Daniel Abreu and Safaro Furtado in Boston in July 2012. The defense, very spirited. Baez, the attorney for Aaron Hernandez, really put Bradley under a grueling cross-examination. It depends who you ask. I think the defense felt they had a strong case, felt they had discredited Bradley. There was also the problem there were 2 survivors in the car where these 2 guys were killed. Those survivors could not identify Hernandez as the shooter. They just said it looked like him, but couldn't say for sure it was Hernandez. That may have also hurt the case in the eyes of the jury. By the way, that jury has not talked to media at all, other than to read a brief statement saying they followed the law in giving their verdict of not guilty on the murder charges. So I think a lot of people today are stunned, and the verdict certainly sent a lot of reverberations through law enforcement saying they did not see it coming. They did not see that verdict coming of not guilty.
And coincidentally, the Patriots are scheduled to be honored at the White House today. Have we heard anything? They're being honored for winning the Super Bowl, of course, but have we heard anything from team officials at all?
Yeah, the team is saying they have no comment right now. They are not commenting. In fact, their bus just left Foxborough in the last hour on their way to a flight to Washington to meet with President Trump for the victory celebration. Kind of ironic on the day that they are being honored at the White House, Aaron Hernandez commits suicide. But the team so far has no comment. There were some people who've sports writers have talked to, obviously a lot of team officials. Everyone's saying it's just a sad story, tragic, the whole saga, really.
Yeah, it really is, not just for the victims and their families, but when you think about the potential of Aaron Hernandez, and I don't think anyone would have expected when he was drafted into the NFL that this is how his story would end. Boston Globe Deputy City Editor Mike Bello, thank you so much.
Thank you.